Hey guys, welcome to Pop Culture Curiosities, where Gabe and I tell each other stories from pop culture history that interest us. That feels more natural. I can't land with a rhythm yet with it. This is episode 11, by the way. It's hard to get like with my channel, it's like welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, otherwise strange content. It just kind of naturally worked itself out. We're 12 episodes in, and I'm just like, I don't know. Hey guys, you're here. We're here. Let's tell you something about, pop culture stuff. So how's it going?
So great. You should have heard the conversation we had off camera where I was ranting and raving about something or other.
Oh yeah.
That's
so
no one's ever going to see. Anyway, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Today I want to talk about a reality TV show from my childhood. Jon and Kate Plus 8. We were talking about this a little bit. You watched Jon and Kate Plus 8 as a kid. I watched Jon and Kate Plus 8 as a kid a lot. I don't know. I don't even remember why. I was just fascinated with the show. I was like, there's 8 kids in that family.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
That was my first time hearing about sextuplets, and I'm like, someone can have 6?
Apparently, I learned during the research of this episode that it's apparently possible. I knew that, like, you remember Octomom? Octomom could be a video all in and of itself.
Yep.
But apparently, that's the highest that was listed as being possible. Which I don't know why I was like, really? There's a cutoff? Because, like, of course there'd be a cutoff. There can't be. You can't have like 15 of them.
Oh,
like, that wouldn't be.
Oh, I'm incapable of having kids, but I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Just the thought of having one is terrifying.
Yeah, I've seen videos about people or the men who attach themselves and they make it, or they have like experience pregnancy pains and whatnot, and they're like, oh.
And then women tried and they're like, oh, this is kind of calming. And they're like, are you kidding me? And all the men are just like, I want to cry.
I remember I was watching a Smosh video where the men had to do specific tasks while I think going through period cramps, and all the guys are like, oh, I gotta do this, and then Courtney puts it on. She's like, oh, okay, here, let's turn it up all the way. Oh, I feel that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm doing that. And I'm just like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes your period cramps just get so bad that, like, you're just kind of curled up on the floor being like, I don't want to do anything. And then you, like, have to go to work. And it's just like, okay. And then you go to work and you're miserable. And you come home and you're like, never let him see you cry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. But I will say that we've got a lot of like sketchy stuff to talk about when it comes to Kate specifically, but I will say, I will give credit where credit is due. She gave birth to 6 kids at once. No one can take that away from her.
I remember during one of the episodes, they showed a home video and they were talking about how Kate wanted to show more of her belly on the home video because she was lying down. And Jon was like, Kate, please don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. But the doctors are like, don't move your belly around. And it's just her. And she just swings her belly up with the 6 kids and is like, my belly.
Yeah. And like, there's going to be people that are like, she had him C-section, but still, early she had to go on bed rest just for the, I won't defend her or probably say anything positive about this woman for the rest of the podcast episode. But the one thing I will say is, early you have to be on bed rest when you've got 6 kids. That's a lot of kids to be carrying at once in your body.
Oh.
That's impressive. So anyway.
Anyway, all the niceties to Kate aside.
Yeah, that's and disclaimer, aside from like the factual stuff about like when the kids were born and the show and like when it aired, everything else is alleged, right? And the stuff that they caught on camera. They did catch a lot of stuff on camera, but the other stuff is alleged. Disclaimer. This is just what's being reported and alleged by other people. So going forward, just keep that in mind. Anyway.
And don't send hate to anybody.
Yes, please don't. Please don't do that. Okay, I've got a bunch of articles open and a whole note thing, and we're just gonna try to get into it. All right. So Jon and Kate Plus 8 was a show following Jon and Kate Goslin. They were well, before there was a show, they were picked up by a documentary crew who wanted to do a documentary about them because Jon and Kate, after being married in 1999 and struggling to conceive on their own because Kate, I didn't know this before researching this, she has PCOS, which I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's like a not like lethal health condition, but it basically just means that there's like basically like little like non-cancerous cysts on your ovaries, and it like is due to like your hormones. It's a hormone imbalance, like, you know, there's, you know, your body makes too much testosterone and glucose, and there's all kinds of things, and a lot of the time women struggle to or can't get pregnant depending on how severe the case is. So I didn't realize that, but that's why she wasn't able to have kids naturally, I guess, or on her own. They turned to IVF treatment. And the first treatment, they had twin girls. That's Kara and Madeline. And everything was good. Documentaries are not involved in their life yet.
Oh, okay. Everything's
so
fine.
far, normal life. They have twins, you know. They have twins in October of 2000, which completely not related to anything. I'm jealous of everybody with an October birthday because I love spooky season and I would love to have a
Yes.
Halloween themed birthday.
My friend has a birthday on October 31st.
Ooh, that's great.
Yes.
That's the dream.
Shout out to Jess. Hey.
Woo! You have such a great birthday. I'm jealous of your birth date. Mine's 2 days before Christmas.
Oh no.
So time goes by and they're like, we like these two kids that we have. Let's have another one. So they do IVF again. And this time, their 7 fertilized eggs ended up resulting in 6 babies. Sextuplets.
I remember hearing that there was a 7th, but unfortunately.
I saw conflicting reports, so somebody will have to fact check me in the comments. I saw some that were just like, oh, there were 7 implanted, but that just resulted in 6. But then some people are more like, well, there were 7, but then there were 7 eggs, but they had 6 babies. So I'm not sure exactly. I think you're right though. But basically, that's what I kept reading over and over. They had 7 fertilized eggs, but then 6 babies. And Jon and Kate, being, you know, because of their religious background, they were encouraged to selectively reduce, basically abort some of the babies, because having 6 at one time is like really dangerous. But because of their religious beliefs, they chose not to do that, and that's, you know, perfectly fine. That's their choice, because it's all about people's choices. And all 6 of their babies, or the 6 of their babies that they had, are perfectly healthy to this day. You've got Aiden, Colin, Joel, Alexis, Leah, and Hannah. I had to put notes in because I used to remember all their names, but it's been a while since I watched the show. The show is like my hyperfixation before I knew what the term hyperfixation was or meant. So I believe it was during the time of the second pregnancy, when she was pregnant with the 6. That's when film crews were like, we gotta film this.
Sextuplets.
And they were reached out to by film crews from Discovery Health. The channel that would be like, they were all about like surgery documentaries and birth documentaries and all that stuff. This was right up their alley. They wanted to do a documentary on the woman that was having 6 kids at once. So they did. And they ended up also making another one, a 1-year follow-up. These were each 1-hour documentary specials that aired on the channel. And they basically agreed to do this because it was just kind of like posed to them as like, hey, for, you know, posterity, for teaching others about, you know, what's going on, you know, for educational purposes. And, you know, it was a way to make money that is necessary when you have 8 children.
Yep.
So they were like, yeah, there's really no downside. So they did these two documentaries. The documentaries were super successful, so successful that it spun off. They were like, how about we do like a show? How about instead of us coming back every year, we just keep the cameras here? You know, no muss, no fuss. So they did that. And it spun off into the very popular Jon and Kate Plus 8. Later, Kate Plus 8. We'll get into that.
Boy.
So the first 2 years, the show aired on Discovery Health. And then Discovery Health got rebranded into a little known channel called TLC.
The same channel as MILF Manor.
The Learning Channel. That's what TLC is supposed to stand for. No one has learned anything in that show on that channel in decades.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of lessons to be learned, but not the way TLC intended.
No, we learn. It's not so much lessons about like here's the science behind birth anymore. It's more just like here's why you shouldn't marry somebody after 3 months of knowing them. That's more the lessons that we learn. Oh yeah, if you've never seen 90 Day Fiancé, there's many episodes that we could make about 90 Day Fiancé.
Well, I mean, Love is Blind. They only know each other for a few weeks, and it's like you're gonna get married now, and then people are shocked when people say no, and it's like, oh no.
I know the parents are always made out to be the bad guys, like they're not supportive, and it's like, can you imagine if your kid came home and was like, hey mom, hey dad, here's this person I met 2 weeks ago on television. We're gonna get married tomorrow. Here's the wedding invitation. And it's just like, what? Oh. You're gonna do what?
And can I have a glass of water? I've been drinking vodka for weeks.
Oh God, those poor people. I hope they're okay. Anyway, we see you Love is Blind survivors. We got a comment on that episode that was like, Jesus, this is supposed to be like a reality show, not like
Was it the Stanford prison?
The Stanford prison experiment, yeah.
Lisa from America's Next Top Model equated America's Next Top Model to that. And I can get into that if anyone wants to hear about cycle 5 or 17 of America's Next Top Model.
We'll have to do another 3 cycles. I'll get caught up and then we'll do another 3. I'm behind. I've seen only to 4 still.
Oh, yeah, because we need to find 5. And unfortunately, I don't have Hulu anymore. So I'm just like, gotta go off my big brain. Or my ANTM brain.
I can yeet you my Hulu password.
Oh, okay.
I think that's fine to say. Spencer's like, hey, I'm gonna get her banned from Hulu for this.
No, I'm just kidding. Spencer, don't do it. Shout out to Spencer.
Shout out to Spencer. Please don't hurt us. We're gonna bribe him with candy.
And he just for the audience, he doesn't actually hurt us. He just gives glares and rolls his eyes
and makes us watch MILF Manor, which is fair. Honestly, after that Model Land episode, we kind of deserve the MILF Manor. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. You know, yeah, we deserve that. But there's like a little bit of me that's like,
does anybody deserve MILF Manor? Anyway, Jon and Kate Plus 8.
Yep.
So Discovery Health becomes the infamous TLC. Mm-hmm. And this is one of their flagship shows as they make. The other one was 19 Kids and Counting. Whole other podcast episode. Ooh. Okay, so the show itself follows the family as they navigate everyday life with not just 8 kids. I was thinking about this a lot as I was doing the filming, but 8 very young kids that are only split across 2 ages. They had 6 babies and 2 kindergartners. 8 kids under the age of 5.
Oh.
Yep. Because it's like, it's not just that they have 8 kids, it's that 6 of them are... So you've got like 6 kids in diapers all at the same time. You've got 6 kids starting preschool for the first time all at the same time. You've got, like, later down the line, we didn't see this, but I'm sure you got, like, 6 kids learning to drive at the same time. 6 kids going to college at the same time. Like, yeah. 6 kids going to look for, like, their first job or, like, dating or prom for the first time. They're all going to the same prom. I imagine. It's like, you know, that's the expectation when you've got these, like, babies is, like, they're going to go through all of these life events at the same time. 6 of them. At the exact same time.
The terrible twos times 6, like teenage years.
I believe
6.
there was an episode about that. I could be wrong. That could be a false memory, but I'm pretty sure there was like a whole at least like segment where it's like, yeah, they're all hitting the terrible twos, and it was just like a montage of like little babies screaming, and it's just like, oh no.
All the parents in the audience are like, too real, too real. Hello, my child. You're out of
God.
I'm so glad you're out of that stage.
I thought my chair was gonna break for a second. It was a little unfolded, and then it unfolded the last little bit, and I was like,
Okay.
am I about to die?
Don't worry, the TARDIS is pretty sturdy in here.
Oh, we didn't even go anywhere in the TARDIS. We didn't go anywhere.
We need to go back in
We
time.
need to go back to, what, 2002? 3? When did they have, or wait, no, 5. 2005.
Oh my gosh, I was 9.
I turned it off. Hang on, we put it in.
Oh no. Urgh.
Sorry, there's a minor flash warning if you're watching us. Woo!
Woo, we're traveling.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, yay.
So yeah, here we are. That's a lot of kids down that show over there.
Oh, just gonna close that door.
A swarm of children.
Spray something into the TARDIS.
And I remember this show being, because 19 Kids and Counting, which was not 19 kids yet. They didn't have all 19 of their kids. I don't remember. It was like, at the time, it was like 16 Kids and Counting or whatever.
Yeah, I think she gave birth like 2 or 3 times during the run.
Oh, it was more than that, but I'm trying to remember when they started following them. I want to say it was around like 14. They started following them, and then through the course of the show, they got up to 19. This is like a Mandela effect thing, but I could swear that 19 Kids and Counting, I remembered it being 21 Kids and Counting. And I don't know if that's a false memory or if they were just counting like grandchildren for a short amount of time. But I was like, they didn't have 21 kids? I could have sworn they had 21 kids.
All I want to know is she okay? Is the mom okay? Because having 19 kids probably just doesn't. I'm sure there are some health concerns there.
Again, different episode. There's
Yeah.
a whole backstory on the health of one who has given birth 19 times. But anyway, for right now, I remember Jon and Kate Plus 8 almost being like the version of 19 Kids and Counting that you watched when you felt superior. Because like Jon and Kate Plus 8, like they were it was very similar shows, but like Jon and Kate Plus 8 were also Christian. They were just like seen as like the more normal Christian, which is kind of ironic looking back. But anyway, it was like they had all these kids. So you're still watching a show about a family with like an abnormal amount of kids, but it's like, oh, they didn't choose to have this many kids. They're not just having this many kids because they don't believe in birth control. They just tried to have 2 kids and they end up with 8, right? It's just like, oh, right. I just remember those 2 shows being pit against each other. And it was just like, I remember we loved Jon and Kate Plus 8. We were like, oh, we wouldn't be caught dead being fans of the Tuggers. But here's Jon and Kate Plus 8.
Jon and Kate Plus 8. I remember watching it so much when I was younger, and there would be like marathons, and then there was Little People Big World that would also play.
Yes.
I think there's also some controversy coming from over there too, according to Reddit, but I don't go down that rabbit hole yet.
Yeah, I've heard whispers, but I don't know. So again, different episode. God help us if the strike is still going on when you're seeing this, and you're probably going to be seeing a lot of reality TV episodes about us because we support the strike. So anyway, you've got 8 kids. And I remember every episode they were like going out on excursions, right?
Yeah.
It was like the producers were like, they got all these kids. Where are we going to put them? That's going to be really stressful to take these 8 kids out. Like even just like going, you could make an episode about just going grocery shopping when you got
I was
that many
just
kids,
about to
right?
say, I feel like that was an episode where it's like, okay, we have to make a list, and it's like, oh, we have to go over here. 3 of the kids are off on the other side of the store. Why is that alarm going off?
Oh,
What's
God.
happening?
So yeah, I have in my notes, there were whole episodes dedicated to them going to church. Because again, they were religious. And I think there was one episode where, like, if I'm remembering correctly, some church, like cross country, was like, you want to come speak at our church? So they like had to take the kids all the way out to California with these 8 kids just to like give a speech at a church. and then go all the way back. And it was like a whole ordeal. It was like, are they going to make it? Are they going to lose a kid in the process?
Was that the one where we see Kate like crying on the plane? She's like, "Oh, I'm having a terrible time," because like kids are
Possibly.
screaming and running around.
Possibly. Kate was prone to public outbursts, probably more than her small children, if I had to be completely fair.
She's a reason why she's in those memes that I won't mention because I don't want to offend anybody.
No, the Karen memes?
Yeah.
I'll say it. The
Okay.
Karen memes. Yeah, she's the original Karen. We all know that.
Please don't come for us.
It's like, Karen? I think Karen is fine.
I think some individuals may be offended because they're like, I was called a Karen. That's unfair. Don't call me Karen.
But that's kind of a Karen thing to do, right? To be like, you called me a Karen.
Yeah, so if you're mad at us, you might need to look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, hey, maybe it's me.
I'm just saying. No
Not
hate
me,
to
but-
anyone, but
yeah.
you know, the colloquial Karen. You know, she had the Karen haircut. I'll put it in quotes. The Karen attitude.
Sorry, I'm just like politically correct but
her name starts with a K, which is how Karen starts. Like, really?
K-A.
We really should be calling y'all Kate, honestly.
Yeah, it's I think that wasn't there. I'm trying to remember which comedian came up with it, but it would have been interesting if it's like instead of Karens, it's Kates, and I'm sure a lot of individuals named Karen are like, yes, why not Kates?
My brother says that the male version of a Kate, just to keep it fair, is a Keith. Sorry to all the Keiths out there.
I've heard Kevin and Chad, but I prefer Chad.
Well, Chad like became unironically like cool, right? It was like everybody was like, "Oh, that's such a Chad," and then Chad became like, "Ooh, he's so buff, what a Chad!" And then some were like, "We can't use that anymore." So like Kevin is another one. Spencer uses Keith from personal experience. It's a long story, but anyway, no generalizations of Keiths or Karens. I've met nice people. Well, I've met a nice Karen.
I knew a Karen in college, and she was cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so like the excursions, and I remember this vividly. This lives rent free in my head. One of the excursions was that they had to set out to buy half a cow. They went to a dairy farm. They would make a whole day out of it because they would go through so much meat because they have 10 people in the house. And 8 of those people are growing children. So they buy so much food that it ends up being cheaper in the long run for them. Sorry, I hit the microphone, Spencer. I'm so sorry. Please don't hurt me. It ends up being cheaper for them in the long run to go to a farm and buy half a cow's worth of meat in bulk. And then they just have all these freezers in their garage where they like keep all the meat frozen. And then that's just like once a year they do that.
I don't remember that.
I do.
Oh my god!
Because I remember them like bringing the kids to the farm and they're like feeding the little goats and like feeding the cows and oh look how cute that is. Here's half a cow worth of meat that we're buying, children. Help daddy get in the car. Like I'm sure they didn't have the kids actually help, but like that was basically the vibe that I remember from that episode and just being fascinated. I'm like, I'm like 10 years old. I'm like, you can do that? You can just buy half a cow?
Yes. And I'm sure a lot of people are like, no, make the kids carry the meat. You need to have them helping with chores when they're young. So when you're older, you could be like, go vacuum and they'll do it.
Helping with chores, sure. Carrying half a dead carcass that's going to feed the family for a year feels a little.
Oh, or it's not like I'm imagining like packaged ground
literally
meat.
Like half the cow cut down the middle. It's packaged, but like.
Okay.
It's half a cow, and they're like they keep referring to it as like this is half a cow. This is the meats of the half cow that we're getting. We're getting this half of the cow with all these meats on it, and the kids are just like because they were like it's a learning experience. It's fun for the kids, and the kids are like having fun on the farm and doing like little kid stuff on the farm, and then they're trucking out half a cow worth of meat, and everybody is just like I'm so glad I don't have 8 kids right now. So yeah, it was like I remembered that. I remembered the Disney World episode. I didn't even bother taking extensive notes on the Disney World episode because it's such a thing in and of itself. So the kids like the Disney World episode. It's like the show. I mean, I I just wrote down the show paid for them to all go to Disney World, but honestly, I don't even know that the show paid. I think it was more like Disney paid the show because
Oh.
it's a big product placement for Disney. Bob Iger, pay your people. It's a big product placement for Disney because it's like this family. Like Kate's always wanted them all to go to Disney, and like in fairness, I can't imagine like 8 kids at Disney World. That's like hugely expensive. Like that's nearly impossible. So the show basically worked out a deal with Disney where like they put them in like the really nice resort. All the kids had the ears with their little names engraved on them. It was really cute. They got to go to Disney. They got to do like the Day of the Magic Kingdom, like all that fun stuff, and like have like a memory of Disney World. But it was like a whole special event, and I remember they kept advertising it. It's like the Disney World episode, right? And I loved it because Disney World was also a special interest of mine, so I just loved watching that episode. It was like the one where they go to Disney World. And so like the thing in and of itself is actually really cute. But in the episode, that's the one where the infamous like gas station incident happens. We were talking about this with my mom before when I was doing notes. So like Kate is known to like be very quick to like anger. She's one of those. She's very like expressive with her emotions, especially if the emotion is anger. And again, usually I say like, don't judge people for reality TV, but this is like there's more than just like the edit of reality TV in this one instance. Again, not pretending to know her or anything, but like that just is like part of what's at the center of all the claims coming out right now. But anyway, she's yelling at her like little kids because they're like in a hotel room. She's like, they have to wear flip-flops the entire time in the hotel because of the germs. Like she's a huge germaphobe. And so like the little kid who's like 3, like jumps down off the bed and she's like screaming at them because they're running around without shoes on in the hotel, which like, I get it, but it's a hotel. Like, I get it, but like, it's not like you licked the remote. Like, it's just their bare feet. Like their feet are probably going to be a little dirty.
Are they licking their feet?
But then, so they stop at this hotel on the way because they're driving all the way. I forget where they actually lived, but they drove to Disney World. And it was like, I think they lived in like Pennsylvania. So it was like a whole drive down. It was like a whole thing. But then later in the same episode, they're like stopped at a gas station in the middle of the night. And like while John's pumping the gas, she's standing outside barefoot in the gas station. And this was like primitive internet, right? This was like 2007, 2008. So like the internet wasn't even as developed as it is now. And even then she got flack on the online for this.
Oh,
People were like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? Yeah, that's the biggest double standard between you and your children that I've ever seen. And her response was, oh, well, it's different because, in the hotel, that's people germs. But in the gas station, that's nature germs. And nature germs are good for you. And it's like, that's not nature germ. Yes, the organic gas station that like grew up naturally out of the foliage by itself. That's people germs. Like, that's people like spitting and urinating and doing whatever
there's
else.
probably gas on the ground.
Yeah. That's way worse than being barefoot in the hotel.
And I'm sure a lot of people are like, I'm not supposed to be barefoot in a hotel.
One of the other things that happened on that trip is that there's a whole montage just in that one episode of her screaming at John. Because this was a big running joke. Because, it's okay when women scream at men, but if men, like there's a double standard where like verbal abuse, it's like, it's okay if the woman does it, apparently. That's the attitude that everybody had. It's like, isn't that funny? She's always yelling at her husband in public in front of their children, like screaming, like across, like there's an episode where they go to Toys R Us and there's like footage of like people looking because like she's like at one end, she's like, John! And she's like yelling from the register and he's like got 3 kids back here and he's like trying to wrangle them and she's like, what are you doing? She's like yelling at him and everybody's just like, who are the crazy people with the cameras, with the 8 children, with the lady who won't stop yelling, with the Karen haircut?
Why am I getting this piece of paper shoved in my face that says a release form so they can show my face? What is happening?
I wonder if they still do that. I'll have to look into like the laws because I think they changed. I don't think you necessarily have to sign a release form in a lot of states anymore. At least in
Oh.
California, because so many people film all the time. Like, you're gonna get caught. If you're outside, it's like, you might get caught in somebody's music video or vlog or whatever. I'll have to look up the laws. I'm interested to know if those have changed. Because it used to be that they would have to blur faces. But anyway, so that's Jon and Kate Plus 8. That's the show, right? It's like it's a big funny joke about how, like, oh, Kate's always yelling at Jon until height of their success. I'm looking at, wait, I didn't have it in my notes. When did they actually get divorced?
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
Nobody's out there watching Jon and Kate Plus 8 being like, what's going to happen?
Wait, I'm on season 2. Don't tell me what happens. Came out nearly 20 years ago.
Oh, I already have this article pulled up. Okay, so I'm going to start reading from an Us Weekly article from last year, August 26, 2022. It's called Jon and Kate Gosselin's drama-filled history, alleged affair, custody battles, and more. It was not a messy divorce at all.
Oh, gosh.
At all.
I remember this I think it was in high school when I heard the news and all the drama, and I was just like, oh, okay.
I remember being very sad and being way too invested, right? And this is kind of like, we're having this conversation now about like family channels and like how bad it is for like the kids because like they can't consent to their whole life being put on TV or like on YouTube, and then like they're gonna look back on that and it's out there forever. And like this was basically that before family channels, right? Before it was a thing on YouTube, this was basically that. And we're seeing in real life the repercussions of what happens when kids have cameras shoved in their faces they don't want. I remember one of the kids, and I don't remember which one, and I don't even want to say their name if I remember, because it's just, they're adults now and it's embarrassing. But one of them was like constipated, and there was this whole side plot about how like one of them was constipated and they were like trying to get the kid to poop.
Oh, and didn't they take a picture?
Well, yeah, because he was in the back of the car in like the little like kid porta potty thing. And they're just like, push, buddy. And it's just like, oh, I remember like looking at my mom and being like, even as a 10-year-old, I'm like, when he gets older, everybody's going to make fun of him for that. Like,
I remember at one point that I think they were like being potty trained, and like afterwards it's like, oh, I did it, look. And then like they took a picture and they like blurred out the what was going on. And I was just like, oh.
And you have like the little kids like running around the house half naked. It's like, oh, I'm sure they loved all of America seeing that. I'm sure they don't feel embarrassed at all now that they're all college kids. That's got to be a great opening line when like
I was on TV.
The girl or guy that you're into, they're like, didn't I see you get potty trained on TV? Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh. And I'm just imagining people coming up to me being like, you are a rambunctious 2-year-old. And it's like, I was 2. Children act like this.
Oh yeah, and it's like people always are like people scoff when like you're like, you know, be careful about what you post of your kid on, even just online, because like you know, what if it comes back to haunt them one day and they're like, oh, they're babies. It's fine to show them running around naked in the bathtub, and it's just like, okay, but you teach your children like the internet is forever. The internet's still forever if you post it, except now they didn't choose to put it out there. So, like, they have to live with it forever, and they didn't even have any say in it. So it's just like, these poor children. I just spit. Indignation.
These
for those poor children.
Went through all that. Origami paper down.
All right. So, I'm trying to find the article that I was the part of the article that I was pulling up, because I don't want to just read their entire article.
Once upon a time. No. I just remember Jon being very put out like the entire time, and looking back, I'm like, well, when you're married to someone like Kate, I'm sure. Oh, I shouldn't say like so much, but yeah.
I do it too. And I've just come to the point where I've just claimed the like proudly. I'm like, I will use it. There is a purpose for it. Dang it.
But just seeing, oh, if you were married to someone similar to Kate, you would be put out a lot of the time too.
Well, yeah, when I was a kid and didn't like understand like how relationships worked, and I was like, when they got divorced, I think I was like, it happened in 2009, they got divorced. So I was like in, you know, I forgot about this. In August of 2008, they had a vow renewal ceremony in Hawaii. And then just a year later, they were
Oh,
divorced.
I've learned from Real Housewives, vow renewals are the kiss of unaliving to a marriage.
It's true. Every single couple, like I think it was, like every single couple I know that's big on vow renewal, divorced. Like I'm sure there are outliers. I'm sure there's people out there that are like, we renew our vows every year, and we're still 30 years going strong, and good for you. Personal anecdote. Even like I think it was Seal and Heidi Klum. They were big on like every single year they would renew their vows. It was like a big Hollywood affair. They're divorced.
Yep.
Yeah, you know. I don't know why. Like sometimes it's cute and then sometimes it's like, oh, our marriage is falling apart. Maybe if we just get married again, it'll fix it. And then it doesn't, and then they get divorced.
Oh.
It's very sad. But so yeah, the vow renewal episode happens, and then like 6 months later, Kate's like, we're getting a divorce, and it's like a big thing. I'm not trying to make fun. I'm sure divorce is very hard, especially when you have children. Not just like not to be, but she was like 6 months later or like 9 months later or whatever. Like it was like, didn't we just do the vow renewal ceremony? Like these poor kids are having like emotional whiplash.
I thought they were gonna stay together, but they're not staying together. This will be fine.
And as a kid, I was just like, I remember me and the rest of the world was just like, fuck Kate. Or fuck Jon Gosselin because the narrative that was put out allegedly at the time was that he had cheated on her with like a family friend, I believe, or like the daughter of the guy who like did, because she had like reconstructive surgery because after having 6 kids, like she just like your skin just stretches. And, like, it goes beyond stretch marks. It's just, like, there's just extra skin that you can't, like, it's not just, like, baby weight. It's, like, several pounds of just extra skin that has to be, like, surgically removed. And I believe it was rumored that he was cheating on her with the daughter of the guy who did that surgery, who was, like, a family friend or something. It was a big thing. That was, Kate filed for divorce just 1 month after the news had been broken that allegedly there was an affair. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
This is all alleged. This is just, I'm just going down the rabbit hole and remembering how much this like dominated the tabloids. This was posted on June 10th of 2009 by Us Weekly. Us Weekly alleged at the time that they had exclusive pictures of Jon Gosselin and his mistress as he cheated on his wife and mother of his 8 children on her 34th birthday. This was what was being alleged. He contests that. So before we get too mad, there's another side of the story, allegedly.
I remember hearing that side when I was in high school, but I didn't know about this other side of the story because I didn't really care that much. Until now.
Quote from Us Weekly, again, it's all Us Weekly, from 2009. That they said he was on a steamy, booze-filled trip to Park City, Utah with 23-year-old school teacher Deanna Hummel. Yeah, so this is just, you know. This was the narrative that was out there. It was tabloid gossip, but it was a whole thing. Yeah, so he skipped out on her birthday and he was with another girl. And everybody was like, not the super wholesome family that I live vicariously through.
How could this have happened?
And then, oh dear, they were reeking of pot. Oh no.
Oh no. No.
I'm taking you back to, now we're in 2009. Whoa. We're
high school.
We're at the tabloid stand in like a whatever Kroger or whatever. I grew up in Georgia, so we have Kroger. Whatever your local supermarket is with all the tabloids, this dominated all of those. This was like all of those.
Wow. This is a crazy, crazy roller coaster ride. I'm reading the tabloid.
This alleges this was not a family friend. That might have just been completely a rumor made up that had nothing to do with reality at all. But I remember that being a story. I'm pulling something up real quick. Sorry, Spencer.
That's our new like bravo, bravo, bravo. Where if the Real Housewives would, if you say like bravo, 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 they can't really air that because you can't like break the fourth wall in that way. So they would cut it
Ah,
out. But then Denise Richards did it a lot, and so they just kept her being like bravo, 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 bravo.
uh, yeah, there was like all kinds of rumors of that he was cheating on her with a waitress that he had met, with the nanny, with family friend. There was all these rumors, right? And again, tabloid rumors. Um, but this was the narrative. So like sweetheart family guy is just like he's cheating with the nanny, right? So like everybody hates this guy. This guy's like enemy number one, right? Come to find out, there's a little bit more to the story than that, which makes me feel even worse because this was the narrative that everybody accepted for like over a decade. Um, yeah, so that's
Uh,
never fun. Um,
don't send hate. You never know what's going on in someone else's
you
life.
never know. You never know. Um, so that happens in 2009. Kate goes on to film the show on her own, where she's now it's not this couple like this like young couple raising these 8 babies that they weren't expecting together. It's now this single mother whose husband has left her dramatically, and now she's like left to do this all on her own. Everybody feels bad for Kate, you know, because she used to get a lot of hate online. And I remember there was like a brief glimmering moment where, I mean, you had the people that were like, yeah, I would have left her too if I were Jon. But then you have people that like genuinely feel bad because they're like, okay, even if I don't like her, that kind of sucks, right? Your husband cheats on you, you've got 8 kids, and like, now what are you going to do? So he's off the show, he's gone. Um, and it's just Kate plus 8. Luckily, the parent whose name rhymes with the number 8 stuck around.
Imagine the universe where it's John plus 8 and everyone's like, that doesn't rhyme. And he's like, my life is falling apart. Leave me alone.
They would have called it like John.com or something to like stay up with the times, and then it wouldn't have worked, and he'd just be like, my life, I feel so bad. Like, it's not, I don't mean to be overly jokey with these poor people's lives. I really don't.
I wish them the best, especially John.
The jokes are really centered on TLC and their ridiculousness as far as advertising goes. I don't like explaining the jokes, but just so we're clear, I'm not like, haha, this family fell apart.
More of a nervous laughter than anything.
Yeah, it's more of that. And it's more of just like this, like TLC really just was like, ooh, this family falling apart, print money, right? Like,
I mean, I just want to know what happened in the producers' lives where they're just like, hey, you see Shandy in the corner crying and having to call her boyfriend. Let's film that. And the producer was like, yes, let's put that in. And if it weren't for an accident at the Super Bowl, we would have seen more of that.
okay.
So
So it's important to note Kate files for divorce, and then Kate gets full custody of the kids. And the narrative that was put out by the tabloids was very much like Jon didn't want the kids, right? Oh, he didn't want custody. He just left his family, blah, 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 blah. That is apparently not true.
oh.
And that's what really makes me feel bad is it's coming out more and more how much he really did want his kids, but because of the way the tabloids really jumped on all of this, like he's cheating, he's whatever, he's doing marijuana, he really didn't have a chance. Like he's already the dad, and like family courts tend to favor the mom anyway. She gave birth to them, so it's like he kind of just got shut out of his kid's life, more or less. As new reports claim, we've got another side of the story being claimed, and again, none of us know these people, so who knows what's actually happening. But I will say that let me see if there's an actual quote here that I can pull up so that I'm not just telling you off of my own shaky memory, because I'm really trying to be good at my job.
And I'm looking at the camera like, oh, when I was telling the America's Next Top Model, when I was just like, this might not be right, but I'll say it anyway.
Oh, you did great. You know a lot more about America's Next Top Model than I know about the show, because I haven't been following it for years. I've only jumped back on the the toxic gossip train since all this new stuff came out. Sorry.
Where's the ukulele? It's not my fault. It's everyone else's, even though there's proof. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Oh, I love that video that you posted. I watched it about stop making inappropriate content.
Oh, thank you.
And my favorite thing is Avery's like, hello, everyone. I am very upset right now. I am livid. I'm sorry if I raise my voice. You know, just there's the stuff that she's alleging. There is proof that it's not real. I'm so sorry for getting angry right now. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, very level. And
I'm the
like,
oldest daughter, right? I feel all the things inside very loudly, but it presents pretty calmly because, you know, oldest daughter things, you know.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, my sister made her emotions known.
Oh, I make my emotions known. I'm sure Spencer can tell you that. But like when I'm like, I feel like I'm in a mediator point of view right now. Hi, Spencer. Sorry, Spencer. Spencer's also like, mediator is my life. You can cut that out, Spencer.
Spencer's like, when did I? Why are you dragging me into this?
You can cut all that out. Anyway, I found. Oh, this is a Daily Mail article. I can't use a Daily Mail article. Okay, here we go. We're just going. Hi, Us Weekly. I'm piggybacking off of. I'm using this to supplement my own research just because, you know, you printed a bunch of tabloid rags about somebody in the middle of a divorce. I'm lifting a little bit of your research. I think I still have the moral. I have the high ground.
Stop, Anakin. I have the high ground.
Oh no, I'm crediting this very big conglomerate as I quote them for their work that they did.
You didn't cite your MPA format because I think APA is like science and then MLA is for literature.
Okay, so this was another big contention, right? So Jon, through his lawyer after the divorce happened, sent two separate letters. They sent letters to TLC's lawyers basically saying, this is the father of the kids that are on camera, and he does not consent to them being on camera. So just because the mother is like, yeah, put the cameras in their face, that's not going to cut it because he also gets a say because he literally is half of their like parental figures, right? So like he was made out to be the bad guy again because there's just like, oh, he's just upset that he got caught cheating and he doesn't want her to be able to make all the money without him and all this stuff, right? That was the way. So everybody was like, and of course the fans hate him because like he's trying to shut down our favorite show. So it's just like he gets to be the bad guy again. But he's talked about, as things come out now, like he's talked about how the whole reason that according to him, the whole reason that their relationship fell apart in the first place was that he claims that Kate became all about the money and did not care about what the show was potentially doing to their young children who were being put on TV all the time. And he was like, hey, you know, we did this in the beginning, you know, we just did like documentaries and like a couple seasons of TV for like educational reasons to kind of like help other people who are maybe going through IVF. Did I say that right? I said that right. I had to check my notes. I'm sorry. And like, you know, we did this to make sure that like the kids were taken care of. And like now we've made our money. Like all 8 kids have like college funds put away, trust funds put away. Like we have more than enough money to like take care of them and raise them and like have a retirement fund. Like we're good. Like, can we stop filming our children now? And Kate was apparently like, no, because this is like the peak of our careers, right? And so Jon was very uncomfortable with this, and he was very uncomfortable with the fact that I guess like he was noticing that his kids were kind of becoming more stressed than excited to film because he mentioned that like, you know, there's film crews in his house. I think he said 6 days out of the week when they're like on a filming schedule. So we talk about our own film experience, and it's a little harder with reality TV because we haven't done reality TV. We've done scripted TV. We've been crew members and stand-ins and extras and all that stuff. Different kind of stress. Yeah. So, but imagine, like, I'm trying to imagine my life being the show, right? Because, like, it's stressful enough when you go into work every day and you're making a show and, like, the work that goes into that. If on top of that, your life and your privacy is the show, and therefore the privacy doesn't exist anymore, and like you wake up in the morning, especially if you're a kid. If you're 10 years old, you wake up in the morning and there is literally like a film crew outside in the hallway, like filming your little brothers and sisters. And you're just like that's gotta be tough because like I can imagine like you already feel like you don't have a lot of privacy with that many siblings. I didn't feel like I had privacy growing up and I had one sibling. But then like added like cameras and stuff and you're just like, why are they here? I just want to have a normal life. Like what the other kids at school don't have to deal with this. Can't I just be a normal kid? Like I'm sure that was really, really, really stressful. And I guess John's version of the story is like he noticed that this was stressful to his children, which more than one of his children have backed up now and are like, yeah, it was really stressful for us. And we didn't want to keep filming. We just wanted to be normal kids. And he basically wanted to stop and she didn't. And this caused a rift. He also claims that he never cheated, that they were already separated. And then like it was as amicable as he thought it could be, given that they were divorcing and they had all these kids together. And according to him, allegedly, like they were already separated. They were in the process of divorcing. So he was basically just dating. Cheating, if you're not actually cheating on anybody, is just dating.
Yeah.
And then apparently he basically insinuates, if not outright says, I haven't read like every single interview that he's given, but the ones that I've seen, he basically insinuates that Kate set him up, basically, to be like, she hadn't gone public with the divorce. But it was like an understanding that they were getting separated, they were getting divorced, and then she basically was like, he's over there cheating on me, and then everybody goes crazy and the tabloids go crazy and she gets the kids and the money and the house and the everything. So that's his side of the story. Then we get to what I think is the most important side of the story, and also like the most terrifying part of the story. That's Colin's side of the story. Colin was one of the babies, one of the 6. And by the way, we were talking about this before. All of the kids are adults now.
They're like, or the youngest kids are like 19 and
the oldest kids are Spencer's age. They're 23.
Oh my,
they were born in they're probably 22 because they were born October of 2000. So they're almost a year younger than Spencer.
Oh my gosh. That's so weird. And I saw pictures and I'm like,
yeah, they're adults. They're grown-ups. It's weird. I remember when they were little babies.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wait, they don't look like that anymore. And it's like, well, yeah, like over a decade has passed.
Yeah, they look Colin especially looks like his dad. Just like you looked at the picture and you were like, is that just a younger John?
Yeah, I was just like, wait, and then I was like, no, wait, I saw a picture of Colin earlier. That is Colin.
Yeah. But it's just like, yeah, so like all the kids are grown up. I was watching Cruel Mind Happy World, great YouTuber. Go check her out. She talks about like multi-level marketing stuff and influencers abusing their power and like all this kind of stuff. And I believe her husband, I could be wrong, but I believe her husband also helps her. And they like their team, whoever's working on it now, does really great documentaries. She does really great research. I've been following her since she had like 12,000 subscribers and now she's got like hundreds of thousands. So it's just like, I feel like a misplaced pride and I'm just like, I don't know you at all, but I'm so happy for you. Yay.
Oh, the person on the internet you never met in real life, but you're like, I'm so proud of you, sweetie.
Yes. I love when that happens. I love seeing like YouTubers. As a small YouTuber myself, I love seeing other small YouTubers like get super big and just being like, yes, it can happen.
Yeah.
You're an inspiration to us all.
Please don't go down the other YouTubers route where there's controversy now. You know better.
Yeah.
But I remember in high school, I remember hearing a news report about how after the divorce, I think it was like Colin and Alexis or Colin and Hannah, who were both kicked out of school because they were like misbehaving so much they got kicked out of school or something, and I just didn't think anything of it. But now we get to hear their side of the story and get more information and understanding to the situation.
Yeah, so Colin and Hannah both live with their dad, and that's like I think the saddest part about this. Well, one of the saddest parts about this to me is just that it seems like the kids feel like they have to take side. Again, I don't know these people, but like some of the kids are just like, I support my mom publicly, and then some of them are like, we're with our dad, and it's just like, oh, they feel like they have to take sides, and like not their fault. Yeah. Parents shouldn't be putting them in the middle of stuff. I know they're all adults now, but like I'm sure that was stressful, right? Any kid of divorce probably feels like that, like they have to take a side, and that just kind of sucks.
And I'm sure a lot of and they're I'm sure a lot of people are like, whose side do you take? How do you feel about this, that, and the other? And they're just like, can I live my life,
Yeah,
please?
can we just segue? I don't like paparazzi and tabloids and the whole like gossip culture of that. I feel like sticking a camera in somebody's face, sticking like invasive questions on them as they're just trying to like do their thing and being like, "But I'll make money off of it." It's just like super shady, and the people that make excuses for them, I don't find their excuses
I
compelling.
mean, after seeing the videos with Britney Spears and she comes out of a bathroom and all you see are flashing lights, or Britney Spears tried to hide in a restaurant, but the owner set her up and
Yeah.
people were laughing at her. And it's just
We
like,
might have to talk about that. I know everybody else has, but like, ooh, I have thoughts. I have
oh, so
oh,
many.
poor Brittany.
And even after she was freed, people are like, "Oh, maybe they spoke too soon." And those people, I'm like, "You can leave her alone. Go away. You're not supportive. Look at yourself in the mirror and figure it out."
Well, that's the problem too. Is like before Britney was free, everybody was like free. All these people who were like free Britney, they were present day dealing like supporting like toxic tabloid culture for celebrities that are being harassed right now. And it's just like you don't understand what the Free Britney movement is because you don't get it still. You're just like, "Oh, well they signed up to be famous." No. No. You don't get to like shove a camera in somebody's face and block their car because they signed up to be famous.
Yeah, it's like during the whole Scandival incident. Make sure to watch that Scandival episode. But there was a picture going around of Ariana, and you can see her like screaming at a paparazzi and flicking him off. And apparently, like that
Good.
paparazzi had been following her around for a long period of time and like yelling at her. And so she was just like, "I've had enough. F you," with her middle finger up. And I'm like, good for her.
No, the paparazzi don't have a single leg to stand on, in my opinion, when they're just like, "They yelled at me." It's like, you were putting a camera in their face. Don't invade people's privacy. And then the people who are like, "Oh, well, but you have to know that the paparazzi are there, so you must be out there for attention." And it's just like, paparazzi always take pictures on public property because there's nothing illegal about it. So even if they have a problem with it, they can't do anything about it. Two, like, no, most paparazzi nowadays are not allowed to take pictures of their children. So if the face is obscured, that doesn't mean that the parents signed off on it. It just means that's legally what they have to do. Three, I have never been the subject. I will never be popular enough that a paparazzi will care about me. Thank God. But I've been on sets that are popular while I was working, like when I was working on on a Marvel set that I can think of, actually two different Marvel sets I could think of where there were paparazzi. Like over here across the street in a bush, and they were way the hell over there. And like their telescoping lenses are so like get you from so far away. Like they were there for like a good 20 minutes before I turned around and people were like, "Is that a paparazzi?" And I was like, "Have they been here this whole time?" And like I'm just an extra. They're taking pictures of like the actual important people, but I'm like standing in between the important people and them who's way the hell over there. And I'm just like, "Yo, they've been here that whole time?"
The whole time, the whole time.
It put into perspective for me, like being like tailed by paparazzi when people are like, "Oh, but they had to know." It's like, no, they didn't. They could have
Yeah.
been way the hell over there. You don't know.
I remember I was on one movie set and I just remember hearing this like bzzz noise, and I look and there's a drone, and I look down because I was kind of on a bridge, and I look down and there's someone with their car, and they're like moving the drone, and I just saw a PA leaning over and being like, "What you doing?" And then the person immediately like got their drone and like drove away. And it's just, I remember I follow a paparazzi on Instagram. I don't know if I could say that, but I follow a paparazzi on Instagram who talks about how, oh, the crew members threatened me and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, you're not really supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to find me and be like, you suck.
I like how you're like,
But
I like how you're just like upset, but also just like, I won't unfollow him. That's mean.
well, or I don't want to like put him on blast or like
Yeah.
have him be mad at me because I
No,
don't want
no,
to
you don't.
upset people.
No,
But
it's fine.
it's just like,
Just here's the thing, paparazzi. We're protecting your privacy,
yeah.
which is something that paparazzi don't usually afford other people.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm a people pleaser. I want to please everybody, even the
I know
people who
that
are doing
feeling.
things. Well, not everyone who's doing things wrong, but
But
I
it's
don't
just
know.
kind of like it's sort of like oh yeah, that's the story I was gonna tell.
Oh,
One day, I think I can say this. Years ago, I was an extra on Walking Dead, and like we were like trying to set up for a shot, and there was like somebody like flying a drone over, and people were like, "Where is that drone? Go get that drone!" Because Walking Dead is they don't play around when it comes to like leaks, which fair. They're like one of the biggest shows, or at the time I was working there, they were literally the biggest show ratings wise, and so like yeah, that just like people would like camp out like in like the parking lot that was like blocks away from where we actually filmed. People would like take their kids out of school to be like, let's see if we can go see the Walking Dead film. People would like, oh my god, I thought the thing had stopped filming. It hasn't. It hasn't. We're going. We're fine. People would like fly drones. It was crazy. I was like, guys, it's just a TV show. I have TV shows that I like too. I don't have kids. If I had kids, I wouldn't pull them out of school for this.
Yeah, I remember when I was on a TV show that filmed near like 20 minutes away from where I live. I remember being an extra, and off at far down the road you could see people watching, and I'm just going, okay, you can like watch, don't take pictures, but if I were to see like a film set, I would just maybe ask a crew member, hey, what's filming or who's in this? I'm a background extra, so I'm not that crazy. Well, not to say anyone's crazy, I'm sorry. But I would just maybe ask that and then leave. I wouldn't just be standing there unless there was a stunt going on, because, you know, once you're in it, you're just like, it's not that interesting most of the time. Oh my God.
I've been hounded by people being like, what you filming? Can't tell you. Literally can't tell you. It's like against the contract that I signed. But you're definitely filming this, right? I don't know. Can't tell you. Because I signed a contract. Because it's an NDA. So stop asking me, because now I'm just going to get in trouble. Because now what's going to happen is the PA is going to be like, did you tell that guy anything? It's like, literally, I was standing here by myself, and some random guy came up and started asking the same question over and over and over again.
Oh, I think I can tell this story, because I'm not going to say what production it was, I'm just like, I don't know what I can say or not. But I remember I was on a film set, and
redacted film set,
and Clint Eastwood was there, and we were
redacted Eastwood actor.
Yeah, and Eastwood was there. Which Eastwood, we don't know. And it was outside, and there was a point where someone comes up to the extras and go, "Oh, is that redacted Eastwood?" And someone goes, "Yeah," and the person is going, do you think I can go up and say hi? And the background goes, you can try.
No,
and I'm just standing there, and I'm just going, But I'm very shy, and I don't like speaking up because I don't want people to be mad at me, even though I'm sure there are a bunch of paparazzi that are like, destroy him. But then the background just watches as this person walks over to try to say hello to redacted Eastwood, and we just see a security guard pop up out of nowhere and go, and we see them gesturing, and the person turns around and walks away, and I'm just looking at the extra who said, you can try, and I'm just going,
what have you done? Yeah, that happened to me one time when I was doing a film with redacted Wahlberg.
Oh.
They were like, is that redacted Wahlberg? Looks like it. Sure does look like him, doesn't it? Should we go say hi? And I'm just like, no, don't do that.
Don't do it.
He's working, you know. Everybody's kind of trying to get out and get home because it's a very cold day, and there are small children background that are having to be wrangled for this scene. Please don't derail us, please. So, to make a long tangent very short, don't get up in people's business just because there's cameras or they're famous. Please, I'm begging you, stop.
Yeah. Seeing the stories of how I met this person, they were kind of mean to me. Well, maybe they're having a bad day.
Oh yeah.
It might not be you unless I remember there was someone who was a background and went, oh, I went right up to the actor and asked if I could take a selfie. They look kind of put out, but they consented. And I'm just thinking, yeah. If you're ever a background, don't approach the actors.
Yeah.
If they talk to you first, be cordial. Don't get crazy.
Also, I know that there are some actors who are just like dicks, because there's people who are dicks in every social group, you know. But like, Also, there's a lot of times where I think it must be really stressful to just be having to be on all the time. And anytime you're like even looking like you're having a bad day, like somebody could take a picture and be like, so and so storms out, and you like see the picture and it's just like they just look a little bit tired. Like, why is this headlines? Like, so they're not like peppy, and the one time they're not like smiling, it's like a headline. Like, that's got to be stressful.
Yeah. I remember one time Blake Lively, someone posted a picture of Blake Lively and she was smiling, going, "Oh, had a wonderful time meeting Blake Lively, blah, blah." And Blake Lively goes, "No, you had been pestering me and I was with my kids.
Ooh.
So I did this to get you away from me. Don't change don't alter reality."
Yeah.
For your story.
So long story short, be nice to people you don't know what they're actually going through. Anyway, all right, I'm going to start reading from... We're now going to Today. We've skipped from Us Weekly. We're now reading quotes from the Today article because as of right now, filming this episode, and you're going to see this episode several weeks after we filmed it, there has been a new episode of The Dark Side of, which I didn't know this was a series, but they do like Dark Side of and then a decade or like a phenomenon. So like Dark Side of the 90s, Dark Side of 2000s. I think there's like Dark Side of, I want to say like pop or something, like Dark Side of, and then insert general thing, right? And it's just a documentary on like the bad stuff that we don't talk about, like on the other side of like the glitzy fun stuff. So in this new episode called The Dark Side of the 2000s, who's featured but Colin, Hannah, and Jon, I believe, all sat down to give interviews because there was a whole segment on their whole situation. And Colin says, quote, "I was about 3 or 4 years old when the show started." Colin, 19, said in a new episode of Vice TV's Dark Side of the 2000s. "To be honest, I don't have any clear memories of before the cameras were there," he continued. "You know, they were always there," which is terrifying. That's terrifying. And another reason why I worry about this chair is going to kill me.
No, don't do it, chair.
I don't think it has room to collapse in on itself, so I think we're good. It's like really wedged, but you know. It's like, it's the same thing with family channels. I'm like, those kids literally were born on camera.
Oh.
Like their birth was vlogged.
Oh.
Yep. And in some cases, their parents start criticizing the way that they look right out of the womb. Different episode, different time. Some people are out there going, "Oh, I know what family that is. They said their baby's eyes were ugly because they were brown." Yeah, some people know. Anyway.
I don't know, but you just don't say that about a baby.
No, especially when it's your baby.
Or don't do it on camera. I'm sure behind the scenes people are like, "Oh, that's an interesting looking baby," but you don't say that.
I don't say it on camera about your own baby and then leave it in the vlog. That's the thing. It's like, it wasn't live streamed. I don't think it was live stream. I think they could have edited that out and been like, that came out wrong. Let's not put that in the vlog that's going to live on the internet forever and our children are going to see it one day when they grow up, including this child who are saying her eyes are ugly.
That won't cause any problems down the line where they're like, "Do they think I'm pretty?"
Well, technically she said you don't have pretty eyes. Just for the people that are fans and want to come for me and be like, she didn't say ugly. Okay, she said you don't, I thought you were going to have pretty eyes. About a baby out of the womb that has brown eyes. As a brown-eyed person, I'm offended. There's a whole lot of tangents in this episode. Sorry, Spencer. These are just future episodes. People are going to be like, do that episode.
If you want to see us watch a reality TV show, put it in the comments below, and we'll see if we want to watch it and go down that rabbit hole.
Yes, we do the nostalgic, obscure, and otherwise strange. And sometimes, I guess that could involve sketchy family channels. Yeah, they can be quite strange.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, oh, I've seen Made in Abyss. What is the worst that could happen? And then I see reality TV show and I'm like, no, too real. At least Made in Abyss is an anime.
The mom's feeling their son's abs.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I had forgotten that happened.
Sorry. Well, the episode that we filmed isn't out yet, so, you know. When it comes out, you'll have to remember all over again. So just priming you for that.
Thanks. Well, and then hey, here's my secret. Sorry, Jimmy.
Okay, so Jon claims that there was one February in either 2007 or 2008 where the family filmed every single day except for 2. Every day except for 2. For a whole month. What's the longest you've been just filming days in a row? We've talked about this. I think mine's like 14. I did like 14-ish, 13, 14 days.
Oh gosh, I think I've done like 6 in a row.
Yeah. Imagine a whole month straight and it's your life and they're in your home.
Oh gosh. And I wonder if they probably took down all the lighting equipment, so maybe every day coming in and having grips and people putting up lights in your house.
Oh, I had a DP that told me, like, don't ever let a film crew into your house. They will destroy your house. Don't do it. I imagine that house must still be suffering the impact of that much filming in it.
Oh gosh, I remember in Cycle 10 of America's Next Top Model, the person who owned the loft that the models were in really complained about. They're like, the crew damaged a couple $1,000s worth of chandeliers and a lot of things were broken. And I'm just like, huh.
Yep,
yeah.
Been there. I haven't broken anything, but I've been there when stuff was broken. I'm like, that looks expensive. I'm going to go be somewhere else right now. Not be a witness to this crime.
Exactly. But if the owner of the house asks, I'm not legally allowed to not throw anyone under the bus. They did it over there.
It was them, officer.
I'm a background. I'm not in charge of that. I'm legally not allowed to be in charge of anything.
So TLC did not respond to requests for comment about filming schedule of Jon and Kate Plus 8, which is not surprising. In the docuseries, Colin recalls mornings where he would wake up and wonder, do the cameras have to be here? Quote, there were times where I definitely wanted that day off, he revealed, which is so sad because it's like it's your life and you're 4.
And you just don't want the cameras there for a day.
The 4-year-old shouldn't be like, oh, I want a day off, right?
Or it's just the picture of the kid just has a cigarette and, the worker covered in dust.
Chain smoke. I'm just picturing like actors on break just like chain smoking because they've had so many hours to work. And it's just like, but that's a child. In those moments, Colin says he would shut down and refuse to cooperate with producers. Quote, I was quiet. I would just be there and be completely silent in interviews and not interact or do what I had to do, he said in the Vice TV episode, which there was definitely a running plot line about Colin being the problem child, which seems even ickier looking back. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him and I believe Hannah were the ones that were designated as the problem kids. And I think Madeline was was seen as a diva.
Madeline was just very snarky, right? So she was like being a typical like 13-year-old girl who was just like kind of over everything. But then of course like everybody's like, oh, that child is such a B word. And it's just like, that's a child.
That is a child. Have you seen 13-year-olds?
I'm sorry. I'm sure you were an angel at 13. I was a handful at 13 because 13 is a very difficult age to be. There's a lot of like, you're getting acne for the first time, boys at school are probably like picking on you for being like that kid with the eight kids TV show. Like, I'm sure there was a lot going on. Again, that's just my speculation. But even if none of that was happening, 13 is a hard year. Kara was the good child. The others had indistinct personalities. I think like Leah's personality was boiled down to she likes horses. She's the horsey girl.
And for her I remember they had individual episodes to celebrate their birthdays, and Leah was like horses.
I think it was I think so.
And
somebody's gonna be like, actually, that was actually Alexis, and I was like, sorry. And I don't remember. It was one of them. One of them was a horse girl.
And I remember Aiden was the one with glasses. That was the only way I could tell any of them apart.
Yeah, Aiden was the kid with glasses.
Sorry, Aiden. I'm sure you have a very distinct personality, but I'm just going off of what I remember from a show a long time ago.
Interviewed for the docuseries, Colin's sister Hannah said their mother responded by keeping Colin separate from his siblings. Like, quote, like he would not get to come and play outside with us. He would eat different at different times than us, Hannah revealed dark side of the 2000s. That's sad.
I mean, that must be such a just messing with the psychologically damaging. Like, oh, here are my five siblings that get to spend time with. Oh, I get to be separated. They get to have fun outside, and I don't get to eat what they eat
Yeah, because I'm not happy about cameras being here in the house.
at 4.
Okay, so in 2016 this is where trigger warning for like child neglect, child abuse. I probably should have said that, but like this is where it really gets bad. So she was awarded full custody of the kids after they split. And then in 2016, Kate sent Colin to what she described to People magazine as a residential program for kids with special needs. Colin paints a very different picture of the facility. Have you seen Paris Hilton's documentary?
No, but I've heard about it where she's kidnapped during the night or taken away at night and put in a boarding school.
Again, potentially a different episode. Oh shoot, I still have like 7 more of those videos
The
that
Simple
we filmed.
Life.
The Simple Life.
We still haven't seen the rest of the season finale. We just saw Nicole throwing bleach around that she randomly got from a fridge.
We gotta just watch more of that, just to watch it at least. Anyway, this sounds very similar to what she went through. He says, quote, being in an institution really took a toll on me mentally, because this me talking would probably take a toll on anybody. It was a really dark place, you know. All I had was myself. I didn't have anybody else. You know, I had no support system. I was confused. I was lost. We did not take Colin. And then Hannah says, we did not talk to Colin for years while he was in the facility. So they weren't even like, she wouldn't even like go and visit. She wouldn't like take the other kids to visit. It was just like, your brother's off. He's off. He's away. Yeah.
And he was born in 2004, 5, 6. So he's
4.
like, so he was 12 because this is 2016.
Wait. How does that math work? You're right, because he was there for a while.
So he was from like 12 to like younger teens. He was at this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This is why, by the way, when like English people, you know how like private like boarding school in England is like very prestigious, and it's just like, oh, good for you. You got a really good education kind of thing. And in America, it's just like, you were sent away to boarding school? What did you do? Like, it's a very different stigma. Americans are like, why did your parents send you away? That's not a thing that we do here. That, like, we're picturing being sent to prison when you say boarding school, or like something out of like a series of unfortunate events.
Oh gosh.
In the episode, Colin alleges that Kate sent him away after he told his teachers that his mom was being, quote, abusive to him at home. You know, quote, you know, she caught wind of that and had to put me somewhere where I wouldn't be able to get the secrets out. Yeah. So this is, yep, So according to him, she was just like, we have a brand to protect. Send him away. According to him, which if that's true, is just straight up evil. Because at least some parents are like, I feel like I'm doing the right thing for my kid, and then they end up putting them somewhere where it's not good for them. If you're just straight up like, I don't want them telling teachers that I'm a bad mom, that's horrible.
Oh my gosh.
John shared in the episode that that he was in the dark about Colin's whereabouts until 2018.
So for 2 years.
So I saw this part of the interview. John says that he shows up to his kid's school because he would, during this time where like people were like, oh, he's such a bad dad, he doesn't want anything to do with his kids, and like that's what's being printed, that like he walked out on him, he doesn't want anything to do with his kids. He's like going to their school and like having lunch with them because he does want. I know, which is why, like, again, just don't put people's family business in the media, please. It never goes anywhere good. So and so left their family. Don't do that. It's bad. Like, unless like there's actually something really bad like going on and they need to be like held accountable. But like divorce stuff probably shouldn't be. Like, who's got custody of what kid probably shouldn't be anybody's business.
Yeah, and you know, thankfully the school was like, yeah, sure, come have lunch with your kids, and
yeah,
luckily.
So he shows up one day. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, it's all good.
He shows up one day and he's like, "Where's Colin?" And like Colin's just not there. So he goes down to the like administrative board and he's like, I see 5 of my 6 children. Where's my other kid? And they're like, oh, he's not enrolled here anymore. So she had removed him and already sent him away before. She never told him anything. She wasn't like, hey, we're doing this for Colin. She just took him out of school and put him away somewhere. And when he asked, he says that she wouldn't tell him where he was. She's like, you don't need to know. And I don't have to tell you because I have full custody. And she was legally right. But is that shady?
To be like, just out of nowhere, hey, your kid's not in school and I'm not telling you where he is.
Yep. So he says he was completely in the dark until 2018, where he received, this doesn't even, I had to read this a few times before it like sunk in. He received a letter from his son begging him to come home that was written in crayon that he had another kid smuggle out for him because this school wouldn't let him send like messages outgoing. Yeah. Yep. So it was basically prison. It was child prison, but the kid didn't do anything.
Oh my God.
Isn't that terrible? That's terrible.
That's horrible.
That's
to have someone in crayon, to have it smuggled out by another kid.
And how terrified are you as a parent? Where you're like, is my kid being held hostage? Basically. So, that same year, Jon was granted sole custody of Colin. So, like, whatever happened, and we don't know, this is all alleged, but apparently it was so bad that a judge was like, wait. No, you can go live with your dad. Yeah, you can totally go live with your dad.
Yeah.
Full custody.
So people are like, we're completely and utterly on Kate's side. Jon's a terrible person. Well, it's like, then why would a judge say Jon has sole custody of Colin now?
And Colin, with the exception of Hannah, who also lives with Jon, I believe he also has custody of her. But I don't know. I know that she's living with them and very much on like the 3 of them seem to be a very unified unit, which I'm glad because it seems to be what's best for them all. But like, it's sad because aside from that, like Colin says he's been estranged from his other 6 siblings and his mother. Like they don't talk. Like he's just completely estranged from all of them.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe he's afraid to talk to them.
Maybe.
So I wonder if Hannah could be a go-between, or if she's just like, no, I'm staying with my dad.
Hannah's very adamantly like, my mother needs to be held responsible.
Oh, that's so sad to be like, hey, I was with you guys. I didn't want to film a TV show, so now I get to be in an institution for 2 years, and now I don't get to talk to you anymore.
Colin says he, quote, didn't hear anything from any of them after a 2022 car accident where he says he fell asleep at the wheel and the car flipped. None of them reached out, according to him. Yeah. Oh my God. Not even his mother. His mother wasn't like, you okay, dude? Okay. Like, nothing.
I hold Kate more accountable for that, but I wonder if the others are like, oh, we want to reach out, and Kate's like, no.
Oh, no, yeah, I don't blame the kids, but like, that's just, especially from your mom.
That's just gross.
He says he really, really hopes that one day they can all reconnect and put the show behind them and just be siblings again. And it's just so sad. And it's just like, I hate that I hate that this is public knowledge, right? Because it's like, and there's like Kate, oh God. So Kate put out a statement.
Like yesterday, wasn't it?
The only reason I'm comfortable talking about this, I don't want to include like any of the quotes from like any of the other kids, because basically they're just like, please leave us alone, which is valid. Colin, Hannah, and Jon really want their story to be out there because clearly something is up and they're like, they would like people to be held accountable. And I think that's valid considering that for like a decade, one version of the story was told the entire time. I think it's very fair that Jon's like, all right, I had to get 2 of my kids custody because one of my kids was in an institution. We need to like be talking about this just for like awareness reasons. I think that's very valid. I don't want to say anything about the other kids because they were minors and they seem to not want to speak publicly. So I don't want to include any of that. But Kate responded. So she says, I'm just going to read it. I could be reading the quotes, but I'm going to read the entire thing. Out of fairness, because somebody's going to be like, is there sound on this thing? Okay, the video has no sound. I was like, if she put music to this.
In the arms of the. Yep, I'm sorry.
Oh, the comments are pulling them apart. Oh boy.
Oh, the comments.
Just the first 2 comments that I see are not favorable.
Ooh.
What a clown you are, somebody says. Sorry. It's a very sad situation that you made work. Okay, sorry. I'm not gonna read the gossipy. I'm just gonna read this thing. I'm just gonna read this. She says there's multiple slides. How many slides are there? I know it doesn't say.
19,633 likes. That's what I'll say. As I'm like, off camera, Spencer's like, Gabe, get back on camera. I'm sorry.
Okay. I have never wanted to have to do this, but I feel I have been backed into a corner and left with no choice. Although I'm really bad at not giving color commentary. I'm going to try really hard to read this straight.
Okay.
Although it saddens me to do so, I need to speak out now. My son Colin, whom I love with all my heart, has received multiple psychiatric diagnoses over the years. For the safety of myself, his brothers and sisters, and for his own well-being, he was placed in a facility following years of outpatient treatment, which proved insufficient for his needs. The decision to admit him was made by emergency room doctors following one of his many attacks/outbursts, this one involving his use of a weapon. Fast forward to the present day, and following John's removal of Colin from the treatment, my son's unpredictable and violent behaviors have sadly continued regularly towards John, Hannah, and others around him. I have so many thoughts, but I'm going to wait until I get to the end. Colin's distorted perception of reality is one of the many issues that he has always struggled with. As many people who have family members grappling with mental health issues can attest, it is rarely and sadly surprising when complete fabrications occur, and is just another heartbreaking fact of this fight. There's more. I know there's more. There we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. All parent-child relationships are complex, but when mental illness is involved, it is incredibly complicated and painful, and certainly not easy for others on the outside to understand. All measures that were taken in our home were at the explicit recommendation of his pediatric psychiatrist and or his team of specialists, and were put into place to safeguard every member of our family, our friends, as well as our family pets. Unfortunately, I believe Colin remains a very troubled young man who continues to need a lot of help. His brothers and sisters and I have not been directly involved in his life due to his history of unpredictable behavior and violent tendencies toward us. What his sister, Maddie, posted on social media recently is completely accurate, and I deeply appreciate her bravery in doing so. This is all I have to say on the matter, and I will not be discussing this subject any further at this time. Now, I think it's really interesting that, first of all, as people are very quick to point out in the comments over here, Jesus Christ, these comments are not kind. People are claiming that she hasn't posted online in 3 years, and they're just like, this is what she comes back online to post, but the fact that she's like, we've had no contact with Colin because he's so dangerous, we just can't. But then she's like, he's continued to be violent towards John and Hannah. It's just like, how do you know? You literally haven't had any contact with him.
Yeah.
And you didn't call him after he got into a car accident.
Where the car flipped. And I want to know what Madeline posted.
Let's go look. If she posted something out here, I'll read it just for the sake of being as accurate. But it's very strange to me that she's claiming that he was so violent that he had to be put in an institution when, I don't know, there's just something not right? About like, he's still been violent, but we haven't had any contact with him, but we know that he's been violent. And also, he's having delusions because that's what crazy people do, is basically what she's saying. I know that's not literally her words, but like, she's like, because he has mental illness, he's delusional. It's like,
I mean, just and I feel like I'm just
not a
like
good look.
putting that out there of your 19-year-old and be like, he's violent, he has a mental illness, and it's just like,
My personal opinion of this post is she's showing that she's kind of showing her ass in the fact that like she's like, I care so much about him, and it's like, a parent that really cared wouldn't do this to their child's image. Be like, he was so violent, we had to keep even our pets safe. Like,
yeah.
come on.
And it's just like, or and it's like, is Hannah secretly feeding you information? Because that's the only, unless like there's someone close to Jon, Hannah, and Colin that's like, oh, he's been so violent. And it's
also,
just
if she
like,
put him in a place that all of his doctors recommended and wanted him to go to, why did Jon get full custody?
yeah, it's just like, then why did a judge, and it's not, Jon didn't like pay off, or I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, there's manipulation going on, but it's like a judge gave him full custody and Hannah decided to go with Jon.
Like, I don't pretend to be an expert, and I don't want to speak on things that I'm not an expert on, but like, if it was just a situation of like, I want to go live with my dad, then it's just kind of like, okay, you can go live with your dad, but like, he got full custody, right?
Yeah, and as you were saying earlier, the custody is usually awarded to the mother.
Yeah,
Pretty much more than not, but yeah.
So yeah, I have questions. I need to figure out what Maddie posted. Ugh. It's just really sad. I don't like it at all. I don't care for it. Madeline.
I'm sure a lot of individuals, or because my brain is just like, I need people to like break things down for me to be like, this is not okay. This is why this is wrong. Or it's just like all this information. I'm just like, I need an expert to be like, sit me down and be like, look, this is what you need to understand. Because I just believe I'm just very gullible. So I'm like, yeah, that's right. No, Gabe, that's not right. Oh, okay. My bad. But yeah.
So Maddie said, I never wanted to have to speak about this in order to allow my brother the ability to live privately after the conclusion of our family's TV show, but I've been overwhelmed by hate messages in the last few days, and I feel I must set the record straight. The Kate Plus 8 alum began, I do not own, this is from People magazine, by the way, I do not owe my allegiance to any parents who has physically threatened me and every member of my immediate family, some incidents as recent as last year. Further, I will never allow someone who has exhibited hateful and even violent behavior towards others based on their racial identity and gender identity or religious beliefs into my life. I believe that she's claiming that about Jon. This is really messy. So she basically goes on to say that, like, Colin, who is kindness, tolerance, love, and acceptance are core values in my life, and I refuse to compromise them for anyone, even my brother Colin, who has unfortunately made his opinions very clear in private. Cannot speak any further on why Colin, just that I've witnessed them. And then Jon said in response to that, it took courage for Colin to sit down and speak about his past, and the last thing I would have expected was more abuse to come his way from a sibling that hasn't seen or spoken to him since he was in the 6th grade. So, this is very messy.
Oh, gosh.
It's very, very unfortunate, and it's just like, yeah, like, again, we don't know these people. If Colin has issues, which I hate that a 19-year-old's like life is like being, I don't even want to dissect a 19-year-old's like life and like mental health, right? I don't want to dissect anybody's mental health, but like, it's one of those things where it's just like, that's not what this is about. This is about a problem being exacerbated by one parent who allegedly was like, oh, he has problems, force more cameras in his face. Oh, he has problems, put him in an institution and I'm never gonna allegedly visit him, right? Like, that's not really what this is about, and it's just really unfortunate that that's like what is. I don't know. I don't like that this is happening to a young person that's like going through some stuff and has gone through stuff.
Yeah, and just the had to have a message written in crayon smuggled out of an institution to get him out of there. That's just kind of
Yeah.
like,
And right now, the basically the whole of the internet, nobody's on like Kate's side with this, and like it really shouldn't be any of our business. But because it has now been made our business, and the other side, who didn't get to speak for so long, is now speaking about it. I have thoughts. I wanted to speak about it, so you know, there's oh god, I didn't even get to the. There's very quickly. There's allegations that Kate stole money from her kids, like either college funds or trust funds. I don't know anything about that. I just know that it has been alleged that she stole money from only Colin and Hannah after they left for their dad's house. And when asked about it, allegedly she said, maybe it's not alleged. Maybe there's an actual quote because there was a quote. Hang on. Sorry, Spencer. I'm trying to be accurate.
he sent a message and he's like, I heard a sorry, Spencer. What's going on in there? But oh my gosh. Now, no, oh no, now I want to go down a rabbit hole and be like, what's going on? I just want the kids just want to be left alone.
I found another article.
Another article.
No, this is very messy.
Ooh.
And this is page 6. So again, all of this is super alleged. Let me see if I can find a more reputable source than page 6.
Oh, that's what they use on Real Housewives. They're like, page 6 said this.
Here, Us Weekly. We've already staked our claim to Us Weekly. Let's just triple down.
Thank you, Us Weekly.
All of this is alleged. We don't know that any of this is true. What is being alleged by Jon is that he's going public. He says, Jon... Oh, God, who is this quoting? Is this quoting a lawyer or is this quoting Jon himself? Who is this quoting? Us Weekly.
No, not citing the sources. Uh-oh.
Maybe I will go back to page 6.
Look what you did, Us Weekly.
Quote, Jon's hope is that going public with a source exclusively. I don't know who the source is, Us Weekly. That could be anybody. That could be like the guy that gets coffee. They're like, say this into the microphone. Jon's hope is that by going public with this, it'll help his children get their money back. It's going to help her see that her children shouldn't have had their money taken, and it's going to show the other children that their money's been taken. If they didn't know before, they know now. The Patriarch 45 claimed on Thursday, August 18th, that his ex-wife, from whom he split in 2009, pulled money out of their children's accounts. It's disgusting and it's morally wrong. He said parents are not supposed to withdraw any money from these accounts without permission and without drawing up paperwork that they will pay it back. But she has produced no paperwork and no payments have been made. You can't just live off your kids' money. I assume these are like trust funds. He continues, it makes me feel disgusted. She's been on TV telling the world she has saved her children's money when she's actually been stealing it from them. She's a hypocrite. You're supposed to get the money when they turn 18. Shit, I have to go back to page 6. I don't want to use page 6. I'm sorry. No, Kate, page 6. I just, it's page 6.
Oh. So, and I'm sure if he could be like, hey, if you didn't take their money, show proof you didn't take their money. And I'm sure there are some documents out there.
Okay, so it's not alleged. In documents, Kate also claimed that her 8 children actually owe her money because she paid for their private tuition out of pocket. Like those things that parents do. The thing you signed up for when you had kids. I know you had more of them than you wanted. But that is what parents do.
So she's like in writing, hey, you all have to pay me back for this. And I wonder if has she told the kids that?
Quote, in apparently legal documents, So, I mean, I'm not looking to collect that, but I borrowed $100,000 from my kid's trust, she claimed in the filing, and it owes me $387,000 technically.
So she wants her kids to pay that back to her.
She says her kids owe her money for raising them, basically. So her taking $100,000 from their trust fund is actually, she's giving them a discount.
Oh, so it's oh my oh. So
John claims Kate hasn't paid back Hannah or Colin's trust despite a judge ruling that she should make plans to do so. Yeah. Yeah, it's real. It's real.
So there are legal documents that do say that she took out $100,000 from just Colin and Hannah or all the kids.
From Colin and Hannah. Coincidentally, just the two that don't want to live with her anymore.
And she has legal documents that say that they owe her $387,000.
No. They don't owe her anything. She says that she spent that money raising them. Basically, feeding them, clothing them, sending them to school. And she says they actually owe me that money because I raised them.
But just Hannah and
right, just the two. The other ones that still talk to me, they don't owe me shit.
Yeah, the one where that John has full custody of, and the other one who decided to leave, and oh my gosh. So I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, yes, I found this website and I pulled up the documents that have all this information.
Whose paperwork is this? I gotta know who's actually like in the documents. What documents? I need to know what documents.
We need to see all this information. I know Bravo has a whole team of people who are like, here are all the legal documents of like this person with this.
I'm sure that the legal documents are there. I would just like to tell them who the documents are instead of just being one of those people on the internet that's like, the documents that neither you nor I have seen. But this article and many others are quoting the documents. So according to this, allegedly, it's being alleged that this happened. And allegedly, she was quoted as saying all of this in legal documents. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm hoping the other kids see this and they're like, maybe some of the stuff that our mother's been telling us isn't factual. And it feels so weird for Kate to be like, my son has mental illness and he's violent.
That feels very spiteful.
Yeah, it's just if someone is violent because of mental illness, you don't like turn everyone against them.
Couldn't you just say, like, my family would like privacy as we deal with things that the public is not aware of, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you keep it, like, I would. I feel like anybody who, like, actually has the best interest of somebody doesn't want to just, like, air out their, like, problems to the whole world. This feels very, like, vindictive. It feels like something you do to be petty with an ex. But it's her child, which is concerning.
Yeah, to put...
Not that it would be right if it was your ex and you did this, but you know what I mean. Like it's the pettiness that you expect after like a bad breakup, not your child.
Yeah, and basically turning everyone who's your fan against your child.
Yeah, basically trying to weaponize like whatever fans you have left to be like, I had to save my other children from my son. Like it's just, even if there is truth to like the issues that he had, that's not the right way to go about doing that.
Yeah, if something's happening, you try to help them. She's not helping him in any way.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking, like I don't have kids, but I have family members that family members who have gone through things. I can't imagine being like one of them getting mad at me and then being like, well, remember the time that all of this happened and you had like blah 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 blah, and like airing out all of their like dirty laundry. That feels very, very weird. And especially if it's the mother, who parents are just going to naturally have a power dynamic over their children in that relationship, even if they're not literally children anymore. That feels weird. That feels very like, I don't like that. I don't care for that.
Yeah, and it's also like, well, when he was younger, he didn't want to film, and then you're doing all these things. Maybe that could have had a hand in it, but it's just, yeah, and taking no responsibility.
No responsibility at all. Like John, that's the thing is like, who knows, right? Like we don't know these people, but like I will say that John shows remorse for like, I should have done more and stuff, and it almost feels bad because he was so like, according to the people willing to speak about it, he's been completely left out of the loop of all this, which she didn't address in like any of these like she wasn't like, no, I didn't keep him out of the loop. Like he knew about it. She says like his doctors and stuff wanted him to go to this place. Like
Yeah.
his dad would have known about it, presumably, if this had happened as young, because apparently this was happening allegedly, according to them, like before the divorce. So like he would have known about it, and he apparently didn't. So it's like there's something very weird not adding up, and it's like I
Yeah.
think unfortunately we're going to see more come out about this. Like I said, some of this is breaking like literally today as we film. So I apologize for anything that I got inaccurate. Please, please correct me nicely in the comments.
Please be nice.
Please just, just let me know kindly. Don't be like, that dumb bitch doesn't know what she's talking about. Just be like, hey, actually, this is actually what it is. And then I'll be like, oh, shit, sorry.
And make sure to cite a source, too.
I really tried to cite sources, but the thing with the nature of nostalgic show family is like making headlines for all of the wrong reasons. This isn't exactly something CNN's gonna pull themselves away from the presidential race to cover. This is like People Magazine, Us Weekly, and like not saying that there aren't like competent journalists over there, but like sources that usually run in like TV news, also known as glorified tabloids, are covering this. So who's to say what's true? I wouldn't have, I didn't want to cover this until I saw, it was when the three of them just recently went on that episode of The Dark Side of the 2000s that I was like, I really want to talk about like their side of the story, because it made it clear to me how much like only one side of like this poor family, their drama has just been aired out, but it's like only one version of the story is out there. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's just a cautionary tale in like, not just the what can happen when you're a little too into filming and like, making your life your career and all that kind of thing, but also just in general, just like there's a cautionary tale about what happens when you put like stuff like this in the tabloids, or when I don't know, there's a lot. I don't pretend to be a family expert, but there's just a lot to dealing with for this. So that's my story. I've been losing my mind going down this rabbit hole.
And hopefully now you can stop and just be like, everything's fine. I'll put the Google alerts on. And if anyone has anything to say or if any new information comes out.
I need to like Swoop, the documentarian who's great on YouTube. Shout out. Has she also done a video on this? If she hasn't, she should. She's wonderful. She always does towards the end of her videos like a kitten cleanse, because she like has or fosters kittens, and so she's just like, look at the little baby, look how cute they are, and everybody gets to be like, aw. Now I get to think about this instead of all the terrible things we had to just talk about. But yeah, I hope everybody in this family is okay. Like all of them. And I hope that the rest of this can happen not in the tabloids, but unfortunately I think we're a little too gone for that. Yeah. And I hope the people that don't feel like, I hope that Colin gets to at least feel heard in all of this.
Yeah.
Because that sounds really awful.
Yeah, and it's just, and he and Hannah are brave to go on and be like, hey, this is our side of the story. This is what happened. Our dad isn't the person that he, or that everyone thought he was. And I'm just saying your kid has mental health and like using that against them. That's just so icky.
Look, I'm not saying, we don't know that any of this is true. We weren't there. But what I'm saying is, if Kate is guilty of even half the things that she's accused of, that's really bad. That's really, really bad.
Yeah, this is all alleged, but just just all the information that I've gotten in this amount of time, I'm just like, oh, that just doesn't sit right with me.
Like, if Jon actually, like, if the side of the story where, like, Jon cheated and left, that's really bad on him. If she cut him out and, like, set him up to just gain full custody, that's really bad. Really, this is all just really messy, and I'm sure everybody kind of wishes they had handled this differently. But yeah, that's what I got.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I wish there was a better note to end this on. So usually I try to have like a happy, but I guess Colin and Hannah are living with their dad, and they seem to be doing very well. And like, I think they're both in college, and they're just kind of living their life. And so that's a good, like, that's a silver lining. We love to see that. We love to see, and on the other side, I think the other kids are, doing their thing, living their lives privately. So please respect their privacy. The ones that do not wish to speak, don't force anybody to speak, please.
Yeah, don't go in their DMs and say, "Hey, what's going on with this? Tell me everything." That. Just leave them alone.
Yeah, don't do that. Just let them be themselves. But anyway, yeah, that's it for this week.
Quick, we have to find something fun in 2005.
Oh, let me find something fun in 2000.
Or
we're
should
up to 2000. Let's go 2009. What?
Oh, with the divorce.
That's right in the middle.
Oh yeah, it started around 2005, 2016's when some stuff happened. Today's when some stuff happened. Oh, I see. Edward and Bella.
Trump sued a reporter calling him a millionaire instead of a billionaire. What? I didn't know this happened. I genuinely, because Trump has done so many things that like that's not even like 10 on the list. Let's go be part of the Team Edward, Team Jacob fight. Woo!
Let's go to the Tyra Show episode where she has them on the show. Just kidding. Sorry.
God.
Sorry.
Twilight. We can't talk about Twilight right now, but eventually that'll be a much more fun thing to talk about.
Oh gosh, we could talk about. Oh yeah. There's also that one movie that happened where it tore Edward and Bella apart.
Oh no.
But it's involving a movie that probably isn't okay, that we can't talk about because they're not on the SAGs or WGA side, so can't talk about it.
One of the items on this list of pop culture year 2009, a lot of subpar cinema was released, and we lapped it up, and all of 2009 cinema is like, hey.
Or wait, wasn't the Hunger Games around that time? I don't know.
No, I think Hunger Games was more like 2011, 12.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I think. Miley Cyrus release party in the USA. Woo!
Yay! Let's go to that release party.
Let's put on that as we go to the Team Edward, Team Jacob thing. We just roll up. I'll put my hands up. And then people have like the wolf heads on. And then
gosh, and the fangs.
And the t-shirts, and like all the moms are out there like, woo! And it's just like, ma'am?
Ma'am, what are you doing here? Are you supporting your child? What child? Please.
I'm not judging anybody who's fangirling. You can fangirl at any age, but also
don't scream in my ear.
Don't be Tyra Banks and get one of them to kiss you on TV. Is that what she did? Or bite her on TV
after giving them undergarments that had Team Edward and Team Jacob.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that. Just be like normal fan.
Yeah.
Please be normal.
Yeah, you can be a fan person at any age. Just don't infringe on the happiness of anyone else.
Yeah. Anyway, wait. Hang on. Last warning.
They're playing our song. Yeah. The butterflies are flying away. Yeah, thank you. Oh, remember to leave a 5-star review. Oh, follow Avery on YouTube if you haven't already. Avery talks about stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me at Gabriel Custic on YouTube. It's a picture of me posing next to a picture of Tyra Banks. All that fun stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. Am I missing anything?
I don't think so. Thank you for watching or listening.
Thank you.
Just watching with your ears.
I can see more now.
But yeah. Bye guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Woo.
Woo.